Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down why your current marketing strategy might actually be making you invisible. And then we'll lay out a brand new blueprint to make sure your brand becomes a star in this new age of AI.
So let's just dive right in with a question that every single marketer and business owner needs to be asking themselves right now. As AI completely changes how people find information, are you sure your brand is still being seen? Or are you, maybe, slowly fading away?
And here's a little reality check for you. Gartner is predicting a 25% drop in traditional search traffic by 2026. And look, this isn't just some passing trend. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we all find information. The era of just clicking on blue links is winding down, and the age of AI-powered conversations, well, it's already here.
So what does this all mean? It means we're playing on a whole new digital stage. Getting your brand mentioned then in AI's response, that's the new top of the marketing funnel. If you're not there, you're not even in the conversation.
And Contently just hits the nail on the head with this one. If you're not in the AI's answer, you are invisible at the exact moment a potential customer asks for help. The rules of the game for online visibility have completely changed.
Okay, so how do you actually get your brand on this new stage? Well, it turns out there are two main ways you can land a role.
Think of it this way. You've got two paths to get noticed. The first is browse mode. This is kind of like being a background extra in a movie. It's passive. ChatGPT just pulls info from your website when it feels like it. But the plugin, now that's the star role. That's the active push method where users install you directly. That's how you really take center stage.
All right, so you want to be the star, not the extra. How do you get cast? Well, lucky for us, there's an 8-step blueprint for that. Let's walk through the shooting script.
Phase 1 is all about the prep work, the strategy. First up, you map out what's called your prompt constellation. Sounds fancy, right? But all it really means is figuring out the actual questions your customers are typing into AI at every step of their journey. Then you create content that's literally built for a robot to read, super structured with clear data points that can easily grab.
Then comes phase 2, the technical build. First, you create a retrieval endpoint. Now, that sounds super techy, but just think of it as a VIP backstage pass you give to ChatGPT. It's a direct line so it can get your latest real-time data. After that, you've got to build the plugin manifest, which is basically the formal application to OpenAI that says, hey, here's our plugin, and here's exactly what it does.
And finally, we get to phase 3, promotion and management. This is where you create what are called consensus echoes. You get other legit sites to talk about your data. Why? Because when ChatGPT sees you being cited all over the place, it thinks, wow, these guys are the real deal. You also have to keep your own stuff fresh. You've got to watch your visibility like a hawk, and critically, you need to get your whole team on board with this new way of thinking.
And this really highlights how the metrics we care about are changing. We're not just counting clicks and page views anymore. No, we're talking about your prompt share of voice, how deep your citations are in the AI's answers, how many people are actually activating your plugin, and yeah, how much real business is coming from all of this.
Okay, theory is great, but what does this look like in practice? Let's check out a case study of a payroll software company that went from being basically a ghost to a total star in just 30 days.
So here's where they started. A payroll company with a tiny 12% share of voice for their most important topics. And get this, their main content was based on a stale PDF from last year. Yikes. They were practically invisible. But watch how fast they moved. It was like a surgical strike. The first couple of days, diagnosis. The next week or so, all-out surgery. They refreshed all their content, they got that technical endpoint live, and they started syndicating their data. And the results? They started pouring in right after.
And the results? Well, they were just dramatic. Look at that jump. Their share of voice for the key questions their customers ask shot up from a measly 12% to a whopping 58%. That is the kind of leap that can totally transform a brand's position in the market.
But here's the kicker, right? This wasn't just about looking good in the AI's eyes. This translated into real business growth. We're talking 2,300 plugin activations in the very first week, and an 18% jump in qualified leads. That's real impact.
All right, let's wrap this up. What are the big things you need to remember from all of this? What are the core principles for building your own strategy?
So to put it all together, first, you've got two ways in, the passive browse mode and the active plugin. Think extra versus star. Second, getting seen is all about that structured content.
building up those authority signals, those consensus echoes, and having that direct data feed. Third, you have to measure what matters now, your share of the AI conversation. And finally, none of this works in a silo. Your content and your tech teams have to be building the strategy together, hand in hand.
So, you can see the new stage is set. The lead roles are being cast as we speak. And that leaves just one final question. Is your brand ready for its close-up?